Bogota, a city perched at an altitude that gives mountain goats vertigo, and I've rocked up on about 3 hours of sleep. My plan? To see it all, armed with a questionable sense of direction and a frankly irresponsible amount of caffeine. Let's get on with it.
I'm Ronnie, and my travel style can be a little intense. I like to see it all, do it all, and experience everything that a place has to offer. So if you're up for a really immersive travel experience, you're in the right place.
You can find flights to Colombia from the UK. It takes about 11 hours, but there is only one airline serving London. You'll get much better choice and much better prices because there's 4 airlines serving the route from Bogotá to Madrid. So this is what I did. When you land, the first thing that hits you, after the passport queue, is the sheer relentless scale of Bogotá. It's the capital, a sprawling city of nearly 8 million people, crammed high up in the Andes. And you will feel that altitude. It's over 2,600 metres. So my first and most important piece of advice is this: take it easy on day one, unless you enjoy feeling like you've run a 10k after climbing a flight of stairs. The weather is also pretty unpredictable. Colombia's had a certain reputation, but that's changing, and pretty quickly. Today, Bogota is this buzzing, complex beast fueled by world-class coffee and covered in some of the best street art you'll ever see. First things first, you're going to need a place to stay. I landed in a neighbourhood called Chapinero, and it turned out to be a brilliant shout. It's got a great balance, mostly residential and quiet, but with streets packed with excellent restaurants just a short walk away. And it's only a cheap ride in an Uber from everything you're going to want to see and do. And trust me, you will be using Uber. I took one look at the local bus system and my brain said, nope. It looked complicated. Let's kick things off at Plaza de Bolívar. This is the heart of the city. The scale of it is massive. Dominating one side is the primate cathedral of Bogota. The square is surrounded by grand imposing buildings, with Simon Bolivar himself on a statue in the middle. This little chap is a local hero. His name is Fraileron Ernesto Perez, a cartoon character representing a plant that is vital to the city. This cartoon, and his catchy little theme song, have made a plant a beloved symbol for conservation. Just a few blocks away, wander into Santander Park. It's another buzzing little spot, full of artisan stalls selling crafts and souvenirs, with a big monument in the middle dedicated to Francisco de Paula Santander, another key player in Colombia's independence. Dive into the narrow streets of La Candelaria, the city's historic old town. For centuries, this neighbourhood was Bogota. You can find the exact spot where it all began, the Chorro de Quevedo. A fantastic little square with distinctive red brick paving and a tiny white chapel at the back. The whole area is a maze of gorgeous colonial houses, many from the 17th and 18th centuries, with their thick walls, ornate wooden balconies, and traditional clay-tiled roofs. Many are built in the classic Spanish style. As you wander, you'll find streets like the Calle de Embundo, or Funnel Street, a narrow winding alley that's one of the most colourful spots in the area. The area has a young bohemian energy, thanks to the universities here. Graffiti has been decriminalised in Bogota, which has turned the entire neighbourhood into one of the most vibrant public galleries in the world. These are huge, powerful murals telling stories of indigenous figures, Colombia's complex political history, and its incredible biodiversity. This modern art slapped onto these 300-year-old walls is a pretty cool contrast. You also see the modern side in places like the Gabriel Garcia Marquez Cultural Center. Named after Colombia's Nobel Prize-winning author, it was a gift from the Mexican government and designed by the legendary Colombian architect Rogelio Salmona. Tucked away in La Candelaria is a whole block of museums. And here's the killer detail. It's all connected and it's completely free. You enter through a stunning colonial courtyard with beautiful arches and a central fountain. The main event is the Museo Botero. Now let's get this straight. Fernando Botero didn't paint fat people. He was obsessed with exploring volume and sensuality. You'll find his iconic take on the Mona Lisa. Botero gifted all of this to the state on one condition. It had to be kept free for everyone, forever. So because of him, you can just wander in. I was expecting to only see his work, but you turn a corner and bam, there's a Picasso and a Dalí and a Monet. He donated his personal collection too. Then there's the MAMU, which focuses on Colombian and Latin American art. It's a much more modern space, and you'll find all sorts of thought-provoking pieces. One of the most striking is an installation called Engine by the artist collective Mango. It's a real full-sized blue shipping container. It's that mix of classic, modern, and just plain quirky that makes this whole museum block really cool. Connected is the Casa de Moneda, the Old Mint Museum, where you can see the machinery they used to make coins for centuries. I even found an old minting machine made by a company called Ralph Heaton & Sons from Birmingham, which is pretty bizarre to see a little piece of home in a Bogota museum. Time for some perspective. You have to go up Monserrate, the mountain that was a sacred Muisca site long before the Spanish turned up here. You have 3 ways up to the top. You can walk the 1,500 steps, an elevation gain of 600 metres, which at this altitude is a challenge reserved for the terrifyingly fit. For the rest of us, there's the cable car, opened in 1955, and the historic funicular, which has been running here since 1929. Just watch out though, the queues, especially on weekends, can be pretty massive. Get there early. At the top, at over 3,150 metres, you finally understand how utterly enormous Bogotá is. The main landmark is the Basilica, finished in the 1920s. It's a major pilgrimage site. Okay, on to the Gold Museum. Every guidebook screams about it, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you're short on time you can probably skip it. I know, controversial. The collection is huge, but in practice, it felt like room after room of very small, very similar gold objects behind glass. The whole exhibition ends with the offering room, but they try to create some drama with a rather embarrassing sound and light show. But the one thing that almost makes it worthwhile is the object they finally reveal, the Muisca raft. It's a tiny, intricate model that actually depicts the El Dorado ceremony, the new chief covered in gold dust on a raft in a sacred lake, chucking offerings for the gods. Honestly, seeing that little raft just made me want to get out of that museum and see the real place. So, it was time for a day trip. On the way, we stopped in Sesquile, an important Muisca settlement whose name comes from the old Chibcha language, meaning hot water. Now, you've heard of El Dorado, the lost city of gold. It's a myth that drove explorers clinically insane. The real legend wasn't about a city, it was about a ritual, and this, Lake Guatavita, is where it happened.
Because with this substance is why we make ibuprofen, we make sickness pills, sleeping pills, and we even use it in surgeries. So it's a really good plant. But in bad uses, this plant or these flowers, that is where it contains most of the substance, will be dried, and then it will be smashed, and this powder will be put inside your drink.
No, that's why I'm using my camera. I can see where I'm going. Right, I'm in.
To get to the crater rim, you have to hike up a short path.
No, but you feel, like your body just feels heavy, right?
It's not steep, but at over 3,000 meters, the air up here is ridiculously thin.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Make water channels below this the soil.
Do you know the song?
What song? Hola, mi nombre es Fraile Juan Ernesto Pérez.
The reward is the lake itself, a near-perfect emerald green circle of water. This was the Muisca's sacred site, where they would cover their new chief in gold dust, making him El Dorado, the gilded one, and have him throw gold and emeralds into the water. After the Spanish came here and heard about a lake full of gold, they went a bit nuts. In the 1580s, one wealthy merchant forced thousands of labourers to dig a massive cut into the crater's edge to try and drain it. You can still see the huge ugly scar on the landscape today.
Looks like we're going down a bit and then going back up. Oh, looks like we're going down quite a bit, then back up. Right.
From a legend on the mountaintop to deep inside the earth. This is the Salt Cathedral, and it's one of the strangest, most remarkable places I've ever been. The whole thing is carved inside a working salt mine. The original was a small sanctuary made by the miners in the 1950s. This new version, from 1995, is a massive commercialised tourist attraction. Fun fact, it's not technically a cathedral because it has no bishop. You descend 180 metres underground past 14 stations of the cross. They're impressive, but it does get a bit repetitive. The engineering, however, is staggering. They removed 250,000 tonnes of salt to create the main chamber, which is 3 huge naves representing the birth, life, and death of Jesus. They've even created a water mirror, a thin layer of salt water that perfectly reflects the cavern ceiling, creating a bit of a weird optical illusion. But for me, it all felt a little bit soulless. Okay, let's talk fuel. You can't come to Colombia and not take coffee seriously. Barriatali was a proper education.
This method is called in B16. It's a method of flipper. The first step is pre-infusion. This color of the oil, essential oil, the coffee, and the bubbles, and place a smell.
For great tacos, Insurgente was a brilliant find. Clemente's is an ice cream place where they dip your cone in molten chocolate that hardens instantly. But for a full-on sensory assault, you have to go to the Paloquemao Market. Built in the late 60s, it's a proper city institution. The first thing that hits you is the flower section, a sea of colour that reminds you that Colombia is one of the world's biggest flower exporters. The main event here is the fruit. I had a plan to try everything, which quickly descended into me just pointing at things with the misplaced confidence of a man who has no clue what he's ordering. After all the sightseeing and the chaos of the market, sometimes you just need to find a patch of green and take a moment to breathe. This is Parque de los Novios. Its official name is Parque El Lago, but everyone knows it as Lover's Park, which tells you everything you need to know about its vibe. It's part of this massive green lung that runs through the middle of the city. After you've been up Monserrate and seen just how sprawling and built up Bogota is, finding a spot like this is pretty cool. It's not a major tourist attraction, it's just a nice park, where you see local families having barbecues and couples out in paddle boats on the lake. It's a slice of calm in the middle of all the madness here. You can't understand a city without seeing all of it, and that's why I came here, to Ciudad Bolívar. For years, this is one of Bogota's most notorious areas, known for poverty and crime. But the biggest symbol of change is the TransMiCable. This wasn't built for tourists, it's public transport, built to slash the epic commute times for the hundreds of thousands of residents who live here. The journey up, gliding silently over the densely packed, colourful houses clinging to the steep hills, is a bit of an experience in itself. At the top, the view's incredible. What's more powerful though is the art. The community has used street art to rewrite its own story, covering the walls in huge, vibrant murals that speak about the area's history, its struggles, and its hopes for the future. It's a really essential place to see. Bogota really knows how to party. If you want to see it at its most gloriously unhinged, there's only one place to go, Theatron. I was not prepared. This isn't a nightclub, it's a nightclub village. It's a massive old converted cinema in Chapinero, with something like 13 different rooms, each a totally different world. One minute you're in a huge electronic room, the next you're in a salsa bar, then you stumble into a room playing 80s pop. It's famous across Latin America as a massive LGBTQ+ venue, but the crowd is completely mixed and the vibe is totally inclusive. The place is heaving with thousands of people. Even if you're not big into clubbing, you have to go and see it. It's an experience in itself. Bogota is a city of grand plazas and complicated neighbourhoods finding new life through art, and a nightlife that operates on another planet. It's so much more than a jumping off point for a trip to Colombia. It's a destination in its own right, packed with contrasts and surprises. Stick it on your list, I don't think you'll regret it.
If you want to see more content like this, please give this video a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, it really helps. Cheers, see you soon.